A very good morning. So, dear student, I hope you enjoy the online classes and you are doing your work properly. So, dear student, as you know that in the previous class we discussed about the 8th chapter and some important the topic that we discuss. So, in that we discuss the tropical rainforest adaptation taking place in a tropical rainforest animals, and then we discuss about the adaptation taking place in a tiger and a elephant. So now the today's class is about the new chapter, and that we discuss the chapter 9, that is soil. So here, dear student, as you know that the soil is the very important part of all the living life. As you know that this soil, this is the uppermost layer of earth. So this uppermost layer, which contains many organic and inorganic substances in it, and that is responsible or essential for the proper growth of plants and animal. So in this chapter we are going to discuss the function of the soil, how the soil is formed, means what are the process involved in the formation of a soil. Then we also discuss the components of the soil, means what are the main components, main part or main elements of a soil by which the soil is formed, and also discuss the different types of soil, because you know that we have the subcontinental climate and India is a vast land, so it occupies the different types of soil in the different parts of a country. So we discuss about the different type of the main types of soil. In that we discuss about the clay soil, sandy soil, black soil, laterite soil, alluvial soil, many different types of the soil there. Then we also discuss some basic characteristics of the soil and which type of soil is suitable for the which type of crop in India. And then last we discuss about the soil erosion, means how the soil erosion is taking place, what are the factors, what are the way by which the soil erosion is taking place, and finally we discussed about some way by which we conserve the soil, means what are the methods or way by which or by applying this method we can conserve the soil, because you know that this soil is a very important part of our life, or you can say that for all the living organisms or this biological world. So now dear student, as you see that this soil in your surroundings, you many times see that the many small children playing with the clay and make water. Some different types they make different types of you can say that the toys with the clay. So that clay is water is a uppermost layer. We can say that the uppermost layer of the earth is called water, soil, and which have a water the many the essential organic and inorganic substance for the living organisms, for the plant and for the animals or a smaller insect or a microorganism. So now you see we can start this chapter. So everybody, you see the page number 94. First we discuss, we go through the textbook. So everybody, you take your textbook and see the first paragraph of this chapter, page number 94. So now you see everybody, just I am going to read this chapter. Soil is the upper layer of the earth in which the plants grows. It consists of organic and inorganic material. As I earlier told you that the soil is the topmost loose layer or part of the earth is called water, uppermost layer is called water, soil. So this soil is contain water, inorganic and organic material. So this soil, it contains the two main important things, organic substance and so mainly it contains two parts, organic substance and inorganic substance. So these organic and inorganic substance are what? These are the most important natural resources which is water, which is essential for the possible for the growth of plants and animals. So it is the one of the most important natural resources. Without it, no life is possible on the earth, and as it support the growth of plant by holding the roots. Why it is considered as a very important natural resources? Because without this, without the soil, the life is not possible. Because we can say that it support the growth of plants, and it firmly hold the root and help in the growth of a plant. It also firmly hold the roots and supply the water and nutrient. Means through the soil, plant can absorb the many different type of necessary essential nutrients and water for the proper growth and development of a plant. Means जो फूड मटेरियल, जो मिनरल्स चाहिए प्लांट को, जो वाटर चाहिए, वो सॉइल के से ही वो क्या करता है, एब्जॉर्ब करता है अपने प्रॉपर ग्रोथ और डेवलपमेंट के लिए. दैट्स व्हाई दिस सॉइल इज वेरी नेसेसरी. द फूड for animal comes directly or indirectly from water, from the plant. As we seen in a previous chapter that we discussed, that the plant is the water, the fundamental part of life, because directly or indirectly all the animals are depends on water, plants, and plants grow in a what? In a soil. So soil is the water, very important for all the living organisms. Plants also provide oxygen to all the organisms. The water cycle is regulated by the plant, and plant is help in the regulation of the water cycle. Okay, and it is also helpful for maintaining the level of oxygen and other necessary component in a nature or in a environment. Now next we discuss about the formation of soil. Before that, discussing the function of soil, now we come to know that how this soil is formed. So this soil is formed by the process of weathering. This process of weathering. Weathering is what? Weathering is the process by which the soil is formed. Soil is formed. And what are the necessary elements or which helps in the formation of soil? So that is water. You can say the sunlight, temperature, rainfall, humidity, water front, air current. So these are the water. These are the main important elements or components which helps in the formation of soil by the process of weathering. So weathering means the process of breaking down of the bigger particle of rock into the smaller fine particle, and this the breaking of rock particles or rocks is taking place by the sunlight, by the action of sunlight, by the temperature, rainfall, humidity, water currents and air current. Means जो मिट्टी या सॉइल जो बनती है, this soil is formed by the process of weathering. और weathering में क्या होता है? Weathering means it's a process of breaking down of rock, the big rock into the fine or smaller particles. So वो जो particles जो break down होते हैं, बड़े बड़े जो चट्टानें होती हैं वो छोटे छोटे टुकड़ों में पीसेस में टूट जाती है by the help of by the action of sunlight, temperature, rainfall, humidity, water current and air current. So that is called water, that is called weathering. So if anyone here asks to you that how the soil is formed, so soil is formed by the process of weathering. And what are the components which are helps in the formation of soil? So these are all these things: temperature, sunlight, water current, air current, humidity, like this all. So if you know, a gram of soil may contains the billions of the organisms belonging to the thousand of the species. Means एक ग्राम soil हो तो इसमें you can find it the millions of the microorganisms belonging to the thousand of the species. यानी अलग अलग स्पीसीज, हजारों स्पीसीज के आपको उसमें लाखों छोटे छोटे माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स मिल जाएंगे. मीन्स इट्स ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड द शेल्टर फॉर द water organisms. It also provides shelter to for organisms. Now next we discuss the function of a soil. So see, I will functions of a soil. So soil is a home for many organisms. As I told you, it provides water, shelter. You can say that the soil is a living place for the many organisms, or it provides the shelter, or it provides the living space for what for many organisms. So some useful organisms like earthworm, wood, roaches, fungi and bacteria, they live inside the water into the soil. So this soil is a water, you can say that it is a naturally shelter or natural shelter for the many organisms like earthworm, this wood, roaches and fungi and bacteria and many more microorganisms. They help in the decomposing the dead plants and the animals. Second thing, it help in the decomposing. So by the decomposition of dead and decaying material, they convert into the water, the brown color material, that is called a humus, and that humus contains many useful essential nutrient for the plant, which is necessary or which is required for water development and growth of a plant. So यानी कि बहुत सारे जब लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स जब मर जाते हैं तो उनकी बॉडी क्या होती है, डिकम्पोज होती है, सड़ती है, गलती है, और सड़ने और गलने से वो क्या हुआ, वो सॉइल में मिक्स हो जाता है और एक ब्राउन कलर का मटेरियल बनाते हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड वाटर, दैट इज कॉल्ड ह्यूमस. And then humus is contained many nutrient which is necessary and essential for the growth of a plant. So by turning them into the humus, they convert dead organic matter into the nutrients for the plants. First, it provides shelter, home, habitat. It provides habitat to many organisms. Second thing, it helps in the process of decomposition. So by the process of decomposition, many plants and animals, dead body converted into water, the useful humus that contain many nutrient in it, which is responsible for essential for the growth of plants and plants. Soil is essential for the agriculture. Next thing, the soil is also very important for the agriculture. Means what are the things we are getting from the field or from the agriculture practices. For that, the first necessary or important substance, or you can say the thing is that is a soil. क्योंकि soil के बिना जो है, soil ही आपकी अच्छी नहीं होगी, fertile नहीं होगी, यूजफुल नहीं होगी, तो आपकी एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिस वहाँ पे होगी नहीं. ठीक है. सो कल्चर प्रोसेस के लिए हमें सबसे पहले किसकी जरूरत होती है, सॉइल की. ठीक है. एग्रीकल्चर प्रोवाइड्स फूड, क्लोथिंग एंड शेल्टर फॉर ऑल, and we can summarize the function. So here the some functions, basic functions are given here, which is given by the soil. It provides a medium for the growth of plant, because this soil is a water. This is ultimately the medium for the growth of a plant. Second thing, it supplies the many different type of nutrients to plants by the decomposition of dead and decaying material of plants and animal body. Third things, it supports water to plant, means by the root, a plant absorb water, nutrient, minerals and water from the soil. So soil is a storehouse for the water which is available for the plant for its growth. It provides a habitat to microbes and worms that are useful for the plant. As I told you that it provides the habitat. Habitat means the living place of an organisms. यानी किसी भी organisms का जो रहने का घर जो होता है, रहने की जगह होती है, that is called what, habitat. So it provides a habitat for the many organisms like worms and microbes and many other. And finally, it provides the oxygen to the growing roots. Or you know that the oxygen is necessary for the germination and the growth of the plants and animals. So whatever the oxygen is necessary, it is provided by the soil, because the soil have the empty space in between the particles, so that is filled with the oxygen, and that oxygen is utilized by the plant for its development. Now next we are going to talking about what the components of a soil. I hope up to here this is the process of soil, this process of weathering is clear for everybody. A basic concept, basic information about the soil, I think ये सबके लिए clear हो गया होगा, और इसके function भी जो इसके functions जो है वो भी आपके लिए सबके लिए I think clear हो गया. So next, components of the soil. Components of soil means soil में क्या क्या है. Components means what are the main ingredients. What are the main ingredients of the soil? What are the things by which the soil is formed? Yeah, you can say that what are the main composition of a soil. Composition soil means किस किस टाइप के एलिमेंट्स से या उसके कंपोनेंट से मिलकर सॉइल बना है. So the mixture of rock particles and the humus is called as soil. If we are talking about the soil is nothing but water. It's a fine particles of rocks that form by the process of weathering, and when that rock particles is mixed with water, humus. These fine particles mix with the water, this humus which is formed by the process of decomposition, it forms water, soil. The various ingredients of the soil and their percentage are given here in your textbook. You see page number 95. So first, composition of soil, first this air, this content 25%, means the 25% of soil is occupied by this air. Then water is also contained 25%. Then the soil particles and minerals. This is 45%. And then last fourth one is the organic matter. So there are the main component or ingredient of the soil. First, air, which have the 25%, water, which occupy the 25% of the soil, then soil particles and minerals that occupy the 45% of the soil, and then finally organic matter, which occupy the 5%. So soil formation is a slow process and it takes around the 500 to the thousands of years. मीन्स सॉइल जो बनने की जो प्रोसेस है वो काफ़ी स्लो प्रोसेस है, बट इसका सॉइल इरोजन जो है वो काफ़ी जल्दी हो जाता है. मीन्स एक सेंटीमीटर मोटी लेयर बनने के लिए लाखों साल लग जाते हैं. सो यू कैन इमेजिन दैट हाउ स्लो दिस प्रोसेस ऑफ द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ सॉइल. तो इससे अपन अनुमान लगा सकते हैं कि कितनी ये स्लो प्रोसेस है, लेकिन सॉइल का इरोजन काफ़ी ईजीली हो जाता है. वाटर करंट्स, एयर करंट के साथ में, या फिर ओवर ग्रेजिंग के कारण, कैटल्स के ओवर ग्रेजिंग के कारण सॉइल कैन इजीली इरोडेट, है ना. सो यानी इसको बनाने में, इसके बनने में काफ़ी ज़्यादा टाइम लगता है. ये काफ़ी स्लो प्रोसेस है. Soil forms when the rocks breaks down by the action of wind, water organisms and the climate. This process is called weathering. So means the process of formation of soil by the breaking of the big rock particles into fine particle is called weathering. It's called weathering. It's very clear for everyone, I think. Okay. So due to the temperature variation caused by the change in the season as well as by the change in the day and night temperature, the big rocks develop cracks in them. Means due to the change in the temperature, due to the variation in the temperature, what happened? The season also changes, and due to that, what the temperature range during the day and night it can vary or changes. So due to that, the big rocks develops cracks into them. यानी गर्मी के कारण और सर्दी के कारण अचानक से जो यू कैन से दैट जो रॉक्स होते हैं उनमें क्रैक्स होती है, तो उसमें पानी बढ़ जाता है, या सर्दियों में वो पानी जो है वो फ्रीज होकर आइस में हो जाता है, तो उसका वॉल्यूम बढ़ जाता है, तो वो क्रैक और भी बढ़ जाती है. या फिर इस टेम्परेचर के वेरिएशन के कारण, है ना, टेम्परेचर के वेरिएशन के कारण जो रॉक को जो है दैट इज ब्रेक डाउन इनटू द smaller fine particle and it forms water soil. Roots of the plant is also create the cracks and the crevices, so do insect and animals while they making their homes. रूट जो होते हैं प्लांट के रूट से आपने देखा होगा मैंने हिल साइड और चट्टानों के आसपास में आपके हुए पेड़ पौधे वहाँ पे उग जाते हैं, तो उनकी चट्टानें जो है वो बड़ी गहराई में नीचे तक जाती है और वो क्या कर देती है, उस चट्टान को तोड़ देती है, उसमें क्रैक्स बन जाते हैं। मैनी ऑर्गेनिजम्स भी उसमें रहते हैं, है ना, उसी क्रैक में रहते हैं, तो वो भी क्या करते हैं, उन क्रैक को तोड़ते हैं इंसेक्ट है, और इस तरह से वो जो है पार्टिकल रॉक जो है दैट इज break down into the finer particle and forms water, forms a soil. Rainwater gets collected in these surfaces and cracks. It freezes and makes the cracks even wider. As I told you that कि उस क्रैक में पानी भर जाता है वर्षा के सीजन में, वो फ्रीज होता है, जमता है, आइस बनता है, and when the water changes into the ice, its volume of water generally increase. So due to the increase in the volume, that cracks become wider, more and more wider, and break down into the fine particles. Wind flow, water current, air currents, falling rainwater corrode the rocks. So it also helps in the formation of the rocks. Lichens produce acids that also corrode them. Lichens already we discussed that lichens is the symbiotic association of fungi and algae. Okay. So in this way the soil is formed, which in turn the break into the stone to the gravels and then a smaller particle, means वो बड़े पत्थरों में टूटते पत्थर से gravels बनते हैं, gravel फिर और fine smaller particles में बनते हैं, and finally it forms water, sand and clay. The nature of any soil depends upon the rocks from which it has been formed and the टाइप ऑफ वेजिटेशन दैट ग्रो इन, मीन्स सॉइल का जो क्वालिटी डिपेंड करता है, दैट इज डिपेंड्स ऑन वाटर, ये किस तरह से किस टाइप के और किस वेजिटेशन से वो बनी है, उस पर किस टाइप का वेजिटेशन ग्रो कर रहा है. ओके, सो द नेचर ऑफ एनी सॉइल डिपेंड्स अपॉन द रॉक्स फ्रॉम विच इट हैज़ बीन फॉर्म, यानी किस टाइप की चट्टान से बनी है, वो इग्नियस से है या मेटामॉर्फिक है या सेडिमेंट्री रॉक्स है, किस टाइप की रॉक से वो बनी है और उस पर किस टाइप का वेजिटेशन है, कैसे प्लांट वहाँ पे ग्रो करे, किस टाइप के है ना, एवरग्रीन है या डिसीडियस है, हाँ, या फिर और किसी सैंड ये डेजर्ट या किसी और टाइप के. ठीक है. सॉइल पार्टिकल्स आर ऑफ डिफरेंट साइज एंड टेक्सचर्स. इफ यू सी द सॉइल पार्टिकल्स दे हैव द डिफरेंट टेक्सचर्स. उसमें कुछ जो है बड़े पार्टिकल्स होते हैं, कुछ फाइन पार्टिकल, कुछ बड़े बड़े स्टोन भी होते हैं. सो सैंड इज द मोस्ट स्टेबल ऑफ द मिनरल्स कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ द सॉइल. इफ यू सी कि इसके जो कंपोनेंट आप देखते हो तो जस्ट लाइक वी सी द सैंड फ्रॉम द रिवर साइड, हाँ, नदी में से रिवर जो कंस्ट्रक्शन साइड पे आप रेत देखते हो ना, सैंड, तो उसमें सब कुछ पार्टिकल्स आपको मिल जाएंगे, बड़े पत्थर भी मिल जाएंगे, ग्रेवल्स भी, स्टोन फाइल पार्टिकल्स भी मिल जाएंगे, या फिर मिट्टी आप किसी भी मैदान से लेकर रखिए तो उसमें पार्टिकल्स है, ग्रे है, फाइन पार्टिकल्स है, क्ले है, दिस ऑल आर द मेन कंपोनेंट्स. ओके, सो इट कंसिस्ट ऑफ द पार्टिकल साइज 2 to 0.5 mm in diameter. Cells ranges in the size from the 0.05 to 0.002 mm. ये small fine particles है. ठीक है. Clay particles भी है. Clay is also the particles are also a component of soil that can be seen even under the common microscope as the particles are 0.2 to 0.002 mm or less than diameter, you know, diameter, यानी 0.022 mm से भी कम diameter के बिल्कुल fine particles होते हैं, that is called clay particles. Soil components larger than the 2 mm are classified as a gravel, और 2 mm से भी बड़े होते तो उनको अपन gravels कहते हैं. The rotting dead matter present in the soil is called humus, और जो सड़ा गला पदार्थ होता है जो डेड बॉडी से बनता है तो उसको अपन क्या कहते हैं, that is called humus, और एक्चुअली उसी में सब कुछ होता है प्लांट्स के लिए. ठीक है. It makes the soil fertile and provide nutrient to growing plants. This layer is generally soft, porous and retain more water. So you can see the side by table is given here. Here the soil particle is given here and their size and texture is given. So gravel जो है उसका larger than the 2 mm ये जो वेरी रफ होते हैं, बड़े होते हैं, सैंड जो होते हैं 2 to 0.5 mm जो कोर्स और स्लाइटली कोर्स होते हैं, सिल्स जो 0.05 to 0.002 mm के होते हैं, फाइन पार्टिकल्स होते हैं, और फाइनेस्ट सबसे स्मॉलेस्ट जो पार्टिकल होते हैं that is 0.002 mm or less than this, that is called the clay particle, or these are very finest. So this is what these are all the composition or components of soil, and then we discuss about the process of weathering, how this soil is formed, and then we discuss the main important functions of the soil in this class. Okay, so I hope you guys understood this all things very well. If you have any kind of doubt in your mind, just you go through the textbook first, then after if you have any doubt, is after reading the textbook, if you is not clear your it's not able to clear your doubt, then you can ask me. Okay, thank you, have a nice day.